Evening. Welcome to tonight's live stream. I'm going to get started in a moment. I just need to let everybody on social media know that the stream is currently on the air. Okay, now that I've let everybody on social media know that the stream is currently on the air, I want to get through some perfunctory, and that perfunctory is going to be a progress report on the SJS Direct 2024 catalog, which is basically just about done. All three of the books have been finished with the layouts, and we're going to be on the third draft of the books, which is possibly the final draft. And everything looks good for John Haynes' Illuminati, ISIS Dark Incubus, and Esteem Horror in the Hamptons. And all of those books will be coming to you next year. I just got the cover from Mike Williams and for John Haynes' Illuminati, and it looks absolutely fantastic and pays great homage to Action Jackson, the 1988 movie, and also pays homage to the James Bond movie, A View to a Kill, which, fun fact, I got from Mike Williams was the inspiration for the Action Jackson poster. So that the SJS Direct 2024 books are just all done. And right now I'm starting a 2025 book, which is called Esteem, Season of the Witch Girl. So that follows up events of Esteem, The Witches of Eastland, one of the big Esteem series stories. And I'm in the middle of getting ready to finish the second act of this book and on my way to the climax. And I'm hoping to get the 2025 books together sooner rather than later. Now, that's all the progress report for the SJS Direct books. And I want to give everybody some video that are going to be coming up that I want to film. I'm going to film a video on the SAG strike ending. I'm hoping to have that filmed this weekend, along with a video on the recent incident with Eric Adams being made to give up his cell phones and his iPads, which is a major development as related to his whole situation. And there was a video request by a viewer who wanted me to talk about the Bass Reef series, and I will take a look at that Bass Reef series and give it a review, and possibly it may be going on the barbecue. Those are upcoming videos along with a goth video I am planning. I'm going to be doing a goth video talking about how some guys who are not goth want to try to change a woman who is goth into something else. And I'm going to be going in depth on that subject. So those are upcoming videos that I want to do, along with a barbecuing of Mark Millar one more again. So these are videos that I would love to get out here, and I'm going to be working on for the next week. Glad to see you here, Night Yo Wednesday Nightmare, and everyone else who is here. And with everything done as related to the perfunctory, I'm going to get into tonight's topic. And tonight's topic is all about Keke Palmer's baby mama drama. And this baby mama drama exploded today when she made a report alleging that her ex-boyfriend, Darius Jackson, participated in abuse and managed to get these allegations made to get a temporary restraining order against him. Now, according to Keke Palmer, she alleges that Darius Jackson physically and emotionally abused her in some court documents and said he repeatedly attacked trespassed at her home and became very frustrated with her 8-year-old son. This is what is being reported by NBC News right now. And I'll leave the link in the chat for everyone to take a look at that article where Keke Palmer is making these allegations and making a request for a restraining order against Darius Jackson, which she managed to get granted by a female judge, saying that Darius Jackson participated in this abuse over the course of their 2-year relationship. Now, these allegations really run counter to everything that Keke Palmer had been claiming as related to her relationship with Darius Jackson 2 years prior. Now, I find it interesting that Keke Palmer is making these allegations against Darius Jackson regarding this alleged abuse all of a sudden. I find it interesting that she's making allegations that Darius Jackson participated in this abuse, and I find it interesting that she's going to the family court to get a restraining order in the family court and not going to a criminal court to get a restraining order from a criminal court, or looking to file a police report as related to these allegations of abuse. I mean, that's a red flag for me as related to Keke Palmer's allegations, because if this man was an abuser like she alleges, you would think that the first thing she would be doing is going out here and going to the police to file that police report, because if this man was abusive like she alleges before she even got pregnant, you would think she would have been looking to file restraining orders against this man. But the only time she files the restraining order is after her child is born. And that's a major red flag for me as related to these allegations. Now, Keke Palmer wants to say in her claim that this abuse went on for the course of the 2-year relationship, and says that things became worse even after they broke up in early October. Now, I look at that whole allegation, and again, I find it to be another one that's a red flag, because there's pictures of her on social media that Ringo says are out there of her celebrating with a birthday with this man. So if things were out of control, then why are you celebrating and spending time with this man? Critical question I would like to ask Keke Palmer regarding the alleged abuse in her relationship with Darius Jackson. I mean, I find it interesting that this man is considered to be abusive only right now, but he wasn't when she was out here with this man over the course of 2 years. And it wasn't considered to be abusive when this man was dealing with her in that relationship. Now, when I take a critical look at the behaviors that Keke Palmer claims that Darius Jackson participated in, it doesn't really fit that pattern of abuse that I've seen from guys who are abusive and controlling. No, it doesn't really fit that pattern that I see when it comes to guys who are extremely abusive and controlling. Because I remember watching a former goth YouTuber who was out here and was a victim of alleged domestic violence from Australia. And when she talked about the domestic violence she was dealing with, she talked about the whole issues she was dealing with in that whole abusive relationship, and how this man basically was a true control freak and was really violent. And the way she talked about things just runs counter to everything Keke Palmer is claiming. And what she was saying, what she was dealing with in that relationship, was this man basically made her get off social media. And as he made her get off social media, he then escalated his abuse to go out here and look to further inflict more pain in an effort to control this woman, to the point where she basically wound up eventually taking her power back and breaking up with that guy. So I don't really see where Keke Palmer's allegations fit within the line of an abuser, because if Darius Jackson was such an abuser, then why would he allow himself to be emasculated on social media like he did when she went out here and was wearing that thong with that sheer dress to go to that Usher concert? I mean, when I look at the behavior of Keke Palmer, it doesn't look like a woman who was being abused based on those allegations, because when it comes down to what she claims to be abusive and controlling men, they usually have a pattern of behavior where they're not going to let their woman go out there with their butt cheeks out and be out here going out here and singing on stage with another man. That doesn't really fit the pattern of an abusive, controlling man. No, that just runs diametrically opposed to what an abusive and controlling man would do. I mean, he just went out here and made a tweet on Twitter when, if in the case of an abuser, he would possibly have exploded in a rage, and we would have been reading about a completely different incident rather than hearing this man complaining that the woman he was involved with was out here with her butt cheeks out at this concert, basically disrespecting the leadership and authority of this man. But Keke Palmer wants us to believe that she was in an abusive relationship with this man for over 2 years, and wants us to believe that this relationship went on for 2 years and she didn't take any sort of legal action to neutralize the situation, like it going to the police, and even went on to have a child with this man. And that's another critical thing that I have an issue with as related to this relationship. If you knew this relationship with this man was supposed to be an alleged abusive and controlling one, then why would you go out here and have a child with a man who is one who would be what you allege to be an abusive and controlling individual? That's the other critical question I have to ask Keke Palmer as related to the alleged relationship she had with Darius Jackson, because this doesn't really add up to me when I do the math as related to alleged abusive relationships, and it doesn't add up when I do the math as related to abusive relationships, because why would a woman stay in a relationship with this kind of man when she's the one who is saying that this guy is like this? I mean, I find that all interesting as related to Keke Palmer and quite troubling. And it really shows how her character has really got a really dark take on it, because when I listen to Keke Palmer and I think about the sweet and nice girl that was presented to us in films like Aquila and The Bee and in True Jackson VP, and I look at the actions of the woman that's in front of us, the actions of the woman in front of us don't remind me of a sister who is on point. No, the actions of Keke Palmer remind me a lot of the hood rats that were in my South Bronx neighborhood that I grew up with. And it reminds me a lot of the kind of ratchet behavior of the hood rats in my neighborhood. That's what I get when I see Keke Palmer. That's what I'm seeing as related to her actions, as related to this entire allegation that she's making against Darius Jackson. And what I see with what Keke Palmer is doing is that what she's trying to do is something I've seen many sisters in the South Bronx do. What they do is try to go out here and demonize their child's father and try to make him out into a bad guy. What they do this for is because they want to get complete sole custody of this child, and they want to be the one that says that they have complete control over it. And that's what this woman, I believe, is trying to do. Is she wanted to have her baby on her terms, and this is no different than what Halle Berry was looking to do when she first got involved with Michael Ealy. I mean, when Halle Berry got involved with Michael Ealy, she didn't want Michael Ealy to be the father in the child's life. No, she wanted to have a child on her terms. And what Michael Ealy did when he heard those terms was he ended his relationship with Halle Berry because he wanted to have a say over the child that he was going to have with this woman. And since he saw that in their relationship he could not be the head of household, that's when he decided to head out. Unfortunately, Darius Jackson was not as good a critical thinker as Michael Ealy, and he got involved with Keke Palmer, not understanding that what she was looking to do was she was looking to go out here and use him for his seed, because what she wanted to do was go out here and have a baby on her terms. And because she wanted to have a baby on her terms, what she wanted to do was go out here and be the one who would go out here and have that child and just go out here and be able to raise her child her way. And that's what happens in this situation. She's one of these domineering, emasculating Black women who wants to go out here and have her child her way and don't want that father involved. That's what she possibly learned growing up, because when I look at the evidence that was presented as related to Keke Palmer, I mean, I look at the evidence that's presented by her on social media. I mean, there was a statement that she made on Instagram that really shows me that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Now, this is used under fair use of United States copyright law of 1976 and is in conjunction with the commentary I am making.
To post the ridiculous stuff that he's posted when he knew his brother was abusive. I went to Sharona's over a year ago and told him that his brother was abusive to my daughter. And he said, well, I used to be like that too. What? So now he's posting on Twitter like he's this special guy. When we fuck boy Hollywood, he's disrespectful to women just like his little brother. He taught his brother how to be abusive. So never done anything like this. I've been in it.
Yeah, it's not playing, but
been in this business for 22 years.
Try to get it to come up, but I'll try to get it up. But the whole thing is, the mother was out here just saying that stuff that was like, she was talking bad about Darius Jackson's brother and saying stuff that just wasn't true. And she was saying things that just were crazy and just out here just saying all sorts of stuff and making claims as related to this whole situation, and showing that the mother was the one who taught her daughter dysfunction. And again, this runs diametrically opposed to the entire narrative that Keke Palmer's family was presenting, of Keke Palmer being this clean-cut girl who had all this promise and potential. that's what Keke Palmer was presenting to the world as related to things. But what we're seeing is that Keke Palmer was nothing more than a ratchet hood rat. And this ratchet hood rat, all she was looking to do was go out here and look to go out here and try to be the strong, independent woman who did not need a man, did not want to deal with a man, and wanted to go out here and just use a man as a tool. So that's what I'm seeing here with Keke Palmer. A lot of what I talked about in my book, The Woman Crisis, about how the feminist, indoctrinated woman, what she wants to do is go out here and have relationships with men on her terms and wants to be able to be the one who dictates to the men about how the relationship is going to go. And that was a red flag for me when I looked at how Keke Palmer was getting involved with Darius Jackson, because the way she was getting involved with Darius Jackson was not, she was not interested in looking to build a relationship for marriage. No, she was looking to go out here and find a boyfriend. And I originally thought that she was just getting involved with Darius Jackson because of the influence of Issa Rae. But after seeing and hearing the video of her mother, I see that the dysfunction comes straight from her mother, who was her first teacher. And as her mother was her first teacher, this mother basically taught her daughter not to look to be a helpmeet to a man, but to be the woman who would be the head of household. And what she's looking to do to Darius Jackson is she's looking to try to emasculate Darius Jackson and looking to subjugate him so that she can be the de facto head of household. And that's basically what she's looking to do in this situation. She's looking to show Darius Jackson who the one has the power in the relationship and who will have complete control over the relationship. Now that she's used Darius Jackson for his seed and has had her baby, what she wants to do now is cut Darius Jackson out of the picture. And the way she wants to cut Darius Jackson out of the picture is by waging a campaign to try to demonize him as some sort of Pookie. And that's what all of these allegations are all about. All of these allegations are all about trying to create a narrative to say Darius Jackson is just like the Pookies and the Ray Rays out here, and is a campaign to try to make him into a bad guy so that she can go out here and get complete sole custody of her kids. And the way she wants to get that sole custody is where she's the one who has complete control over the child's life, and this man cannot have a single say or word as related to anything as related to his child. Because what's happening here is a textbook case of parental alienation, and what she wants to do is alienate this child from their father 8 months into this child's being in the world. And what she wants to do is take complete control over this relationship. And sadly, Darius Jackson didn't pick up on those red flags until she put on that thong and went to the Usher concert. That's when he finally picked up on all of the red flags. But that by that point, it was too late. He was now in a relationship with a woman who he was being a baby daddy with. And sadly, as he was the baby daddy, he didn't understand that if you get involved with a woman under a baby daddy situation, you cannot go out here and be the head of household or make any sort of assertions as related to your relationship, because this woman never really wanted to submit to you. No, what she wanted to do was go out here and play along, make herself out to be the girlfriend for a while, play to your feelings, tell you what you want to hear, allow you possibly to, again, get her to put the carbon rod in the atomic waste reactor. And as you're getting your jollies from participating in nuclear fusion, you're thinking you got a chance at something with this woman, when in actuality, you had no chance at anything at all, because all she wanted to do was go out here and use this guy for his seed because he was possibly Puerto Rican and light-skinned. And what she wanted was to have this biracial baby or this light-skinned baby with the curly hair. I mean, this is something I saw back in the 80s. A lot of black girls would do this. They would get involved with the Puerto Rican guy, the Dominican guy, the Mexican guy, even the white guy or the Asian guy, if that was in their neighborhood, and do this to get the child with the curly hair. And then once they got the child with the curly hair, what they wanted to do was raise that child on their own. They didn't care if that father was in the child's life. And if that father was there, they wanted to make that father basically get out of the picture. And they would do that by going out here and abusing the family courts. That's what's happening here with Keke Palmer. The same thing that happened with a lot of girls in my neighborhood back in the late 80s. What they would do is use these courts and use the courts to go out here and get the father out of the child's life so that they could raise the child their way and they could raise their child and make that child be their own. That's what Keke Palmer is looking to do. It's an old hood rat game, and it's an old hood rat game that basically took the father out of a child's life because the mother wanted to show how strong and independent she was and wanted to raise this child on her terms because she's basically grown up, one, indoctrinated into feminism, and two, she's been raised by her single mother to believe that she doesn't need no man and that the child would be better off without a father in their life. So what this woman wants to do is take the father out of her child's life so that she could go out here and raise her child her way. And as she raises that child her way, what's going to happen, sadly, is that this child is going to become a child in crisis, the same way Keke Palmer right now is a woman in crisis. Because what's happening here with Keke Palmer is she's a textbook feminist indoctrinated woman. And this feminist indoctrinated woman, what she wants to do is go out here and say, I don't need no man. Now that I've gotten the man seed, I'm going to go out here and raise my child, and I'm going to raise a child better than I would with a man. And that's where Darius Jackson is in a jam, because Darius Jackson thought he could go out here, get in a relationship with Keke Palmer. He thought that she was the sweet girl from Akilah and the Bee. He thought she was the sweet girl from True Jackson. But we see that Keke Palmer isn't the sweet and innocent girl. No, she's just a ghetto chick acting extra ratchet. And this whole situation with these allegations of domestic violence show that she's basically willing to do anything to go out here to get what she wants, because she's sitting there saying that he participated in this abuse. And the timestamp says that this happened on February 13th, 2022. And I'm looking at this video that she talked about, and it's like, if this happened, oh, she's saying that this happened recently, and we've got this video that's timestamped over a year ago, and it's very interesting that she's got this timestamp again on this video, fair use once more, and she's saying that this happened at this time. We've got this timestamp here, but she's saying that this happened at recently, but it just shows how unethical this woman is as related to her behavior. I mean, she's out here making allegations towards this man and making these allegations towards this man, not in a criminal court. She takes this to family court and takes it to family court because she knows if she goes out here and she makes an allegation like this in a criminal court, what will happen is that if she swears to this in a court of law with a police report, this will be considered to be perjury. And as perjury, she can be prosecuted for a crime. But in a court like the family courts, she knows that that's not going to be held against her. So this is a classic tactic that many women out here do when they go out here and are looking to go out here and have a child on their own terms, what they do is go out here and they'll, after they have the child, they'll look to try to get the father to give up his rights. And if he doesn't want to give up his rights, what she will do is go out here and weaponize the courts to go out here and make the guy into a villain. And that's what's happening here with Darius Jackson and the mainstream media that is gynocentric is going along. What they're doing in the mainstream media ever since the Usher concert is go out here and try to create the narrative that Darius Jackson is some sort of sexist for saying, hey, I want the woman who I'm having children with to reflect positively on me. I want the woman who I am having a child with to reflect a positive image for our family and our children. They're trying to say that he is being sexist and too controlling, but I have to disagree with that talking point. And I have to disagree with that talking point because any man who is leading his family understands that the way his wife behaves is a reflection of him and a reflection of him as a leader. And if your man is out here and his woman is out here going to concerts to see another man with her butt cheeks out, leaving his child behind, that's an image that makes that man appear to be weak, makes that man appear to be someone that no one needs to respect, and makes this man look like he's somebody who is a joke. And that's basically what Keke Palmer has made Darius Jackson into with that entire stunt, because the message she was sending with that stunt was she was, one, saying that she had no respect for Darius Jackson as a head of household. Two, she had no respect for Darius Jackson's leadership. Three, she had no respect for Darius Jackson's authority. And four, she was going to go out here and do things her way without any regard for the man she wanted to have a family with. That is what this woman was saying with her actions. And as she was participating in these actions, she further expressed contempt for Darius Jackson by getting up on stage with Usher. And as she got up on stage with Usher, she was out here again expressing disrespect directed at this man. But sadly, because Darius Jackson himself was a textbook beta male, he couldn't see that this woman was looking to prey on him like a predator, because what she was looking to do was find a light-skinned simp to go out here and use him for his seed. That's all she really wanted from Darius Jackson. She wanted the light-skinned guy, and she wanted to have the light-skinned Hispanic guy's baby. And now that she's got the baby, she has no use for the man. And what she wants to do is now take away that man's rights. And that's what we see going on here right now. What we see going on here right now is a campaign to take away this man's parental rights by trying to paint him as an alleged abuser. Because if they paint him as an alleged abuser, they can go to the courts and then be able to use this as a petition to gain sole custody. And that's what she's trying to do here. But when I look at the whole attempt to try to do this attempt to gain custody, it's one that will possibly fall apart. And it's going to fall apart because this woman made one major mistake, and that was never filing that police report, because the police reports would show us a pattern of abuse, a pattern of criminal activity, and it would show us a pattern of criminal abuse that would say that this man is unfit to be in the child's life. That's what a police report would do. But if she did file that police report, there would be insurmountable evidence to show things that are diametrically opposed that to her whole statement of all of this alleged abuse. And what those things would be her at that Usher concert, her going out here and having that whole dinner, that whole thing where she was celebrating with him. All of these things would not fit into that whole pattern of abuse that she claims. So I look at this whole thing, and it's again, sad case of baby mama drama. And sadly, that's what Darius Jackson is wound up in right now. What he's in right now is he's in a situation with a baby mama, and baby mama just wants to create drama, and she wants to create the drama because she, one, wants the attention from the mainstream media. Two, she wants to go out here and humiliate and emasculate the baby's father. And three, she wants to be the one who has all the power in this relationship. And she wants to show how she's going to be the boss in the relationship by breaking down this man, because that's what a lot of these baby mamas want to do. They want to break these men down in the family courts, and they want to be able to destroy this man in the family court. They want to have him on his knees, humiliated and emasculated. That's what this whole campaign is about. It's all about breaking a man down to pieces. So I look at this whole situation, and Darius Jackson basically walked into what I call a P trap, and he ran in, as he fell into this P trap. What's happening is this woman is grinding him up, and she's grinding him up because she wants to, again, destroy a man the same way her mother wanted to destroy the father. I mean, a lot of times with these kinds of women who are feminist indoctrinated, this is all a power trip. And it's a power trip because what these women want to do is they want to go out here and break that man down, like the way they want to break their father down, because they've been told by their mothers, oh, the father was such a bad guy. And what they want to do is subconsciously get back at their fathers by going after these guys and breaking that man down and breaking him down to the point of subjection where he's on his knees. But what I believe is going to happen here is we may see a complete reversal on Keke Palmer, the same way we saw a reversal happen to Halle Berry. Now, Halle Berry, like Keke Palmer, also has daddy issues, and those daddy issues have Halle Berry extremely insecure. And Halle Berry, because she's insecure, wants to control her relationships the same way Keke Palmer wants to control her relationships and wants to see the men subjugated. And what Halle Berry would do is, as she got involved with these men, she looked to dominate and control them. And these guys felt so oppressed in these relationships, like David Justice and Eric Benet, that they just fled from her to the hills. But when Halle Berry saw that the black men could not be subjugated, she tried to go with this game to the white man. And when she went with this game to the white man, she decided to go out here and decided she wanted to have her baby with Gabriel Aubry on her terms. And as she had this baby with Gabriel Aubry, a French-Canadian white man, on her terms, she thought he was going to submit to her and was looking to go out here and try to manipulate people like Oliver Martinez into fighting over her. But when Gabriel Aubry saw what was going to happen with this relationship, because he tried to work with her and tried to deal with her by going to visit his kids and trying to do things off the books. But what happened here was she just manipulated Oliver Martinez, had him sent out like a simp attack dog, and had him beat up Gabriel Aubry. And that's when Gabriel Aubry brought the full hammer of white supremacy down on Halle Berry and got himself child support payments. And the same thing could happen here as related to Darius Jackson, because if Darius Jackson is an actor making less money than Keke Palmer, this whole situation could completely backfire, because she's out here making claims that she possibly wants to get child support. But if he's making less money than she does, then the family courts by law have to give him child support for his son. And they also have to give him custody of his son if he can go out here and prove that there was no abuse. Because what Keke Palmer was trying to do with this whole photo of this incident was trying to say that he was being abusive. But again, no police reports. We have video, but no police report. Because if something had happened, you would think that she would have gone out here and filed the police report to have some evidence to substantiate the abuse that she said alleges happened, and have this information here so that she could reinforce her case. So I'm looking at this, and this could backfire because you're saying that this guy was abusive to you and your child, but there's no evidence of anything as related to criminal cases. And you're saying this in a family court, and that's just not enough. And it all could backfire to lead to Keke Palmer being like Halle Berry, being forced to share joint custody of a child, and also being forced to pay child support for said child. So this whole incident could completely backfire on Keke Palmer, and this whole incident could basically blow up in her face because she's out here thinking that, oh, I'll go out here and I'll do like many of the hood rats in the South Bronx and other ghetto neighborhoods, say that this guy is a no good baby daddy. And if he's a no good baby daddy, the court will just run out here and believe my word over his. But in a court of law is supposed to be a place of facts. And if the facts don't line up, we cannot go out here and assign feelings to them. Because when I look at this whole situation, again, it's another case of baby mama drama, and baby mama drama because she's saying that this guy was doing all of this. And again, if he was doing all of this at the beginning, you would think she would have ended the relationship early on before she got pregnant. I mean, she was out here celebrating her pregnancy on Saturday Night Live, but when the baby is born and she wants to move on, all the entire narrative completely changes. So I listened to the story, and I'm going based on the allegations that are presented, and everything here again reminds me so much of the women in my neighborhoods of the South Bronx and the kind of games that they kind of pull. And this is a textbook example of that kind of game because they don't want that father to have a say in that child's life. They don't want that father to have any sort of power, and they don't want that father to have any sort of power because this is their child. Because I oftentimes hear these black women say that this is my child to the father, and you're not going to tell him what to do with her child, not understanding that it took two people to conceive that child. It took two people to go out here and drop their skid mark draws to put the carbon rod in the atomic waste reactor and participate in the nuclear fusion to create that child. It took two people getting their freak on to create that child. And that father has every right to have a say in that child's life. That father needs to be in that child's life because the only person who can help a boy to become a man is his father. And if that father isn't there, then what's going to happen to that boy is going to wind up on the road to becoming a beta male, and he's going to wind up on the road to becoming a man in crisis. And what I've seen from growing up here in the South Bronx and going to places like IS 148, a junior high school hellhole, is that these boys who grow up without fathers, the women love those kids when they're little, but when these boys enter into adolescence, like the late David Carroll used to say, and they start turning 12, 13, 14 years old, what happens is when these boys start to turn 12, 13, 14 years old, what happens is they start to get bigger, their voice starts to deepen, and they start testing the boundaries as related to the authority figures that are in charge. And because these women are emotional, these women wind up becoming overwhelmed because they are not used to having to deal with any sort of male challenging them. No, they're used to males submitting to them. And because they're used to males submitting to them when they're little, and these simps out here, because they want to get their taste of the atomic waste, they're not used to this boy being filled with hormones and looking to challenge her power. And what happens is what I talk about in the man crisis is these women wind up becoming overwhelmed. They wind up shutting down. And some of them shut down to the point where everything that is heard about the son goes in one ear and out the other. Others just tune everything out, and others just deny that they even have a son. And a few will go out here and realize that they've basically screwed up and go out here looking to try to find that father, trying to find that father to try to go out here and get that father to go out here and try to get that father to go out here and try to put some order in this boy's life. But by that time, it is completely too late. And it's too late because that father, he's not able to assert any sort of authority because the boy is used to submitting to female authority figures. And now that he sees that the female authority figure cannot control him, he learns not to respect the female authority figure. And he just runs wild at that point. And that's what's going to happen here with Keke Palmer's son in about 10 to 15 years, because she's just out here trying to buy into the white feminist and white leftist narrative. Oh, I can raise a boy to become a man on my own. I can raise a boy without a father. And every woman who I've seen here in the South Bronx go out here and do this, yeah, they raise boys, but those boys wind up becoming men in crisis. These boys grow up to become men in crisis who wind up dysfunctional, wind up becoming violent, wind up out here not being able to know how to navigate life. And sadly, that's the road that Keke Palmer's putting her son on by not going out here and letting that father be in her life. And she wants to sit here and talk about she wants the sole custody. Well, the whole thing is with when you're out here, you should be thinking about the type of man you want to get involved with before you go out here and get involved with him. Because the man you get involved with, you have to understand that if you have sex with that man, there's a possibility that you're going to have a baby with that man. And that man is going to be in that child's life for 18 to 25 years if he chooses to do so. But when you have a lot of women who have a ghetto mentality, they are used to going out here and thinking, oh, I'll choose this guy, I'll have sex with this guy, I'll have his baby, and he'll just go on about his business, because that's what Pookie and Ray Ray go out here and do. Pookie and Ray Ray will go out here and just spread their seed without regard for their children. And that's what Keke Palmer was looking for to happen. She was looking to just be this baby mama who's going to have her baby without a father, and thought, oh, this Darius Jackson will go on about his business because I will go out here and I'm just having this guy as a boyfriend, and he will just be a guy who will just be a baby daddy. But the whole thing is, baby daddies, a lot of times want to be in their child's life in the beginning. And what happens is the women don't want the man to be in the child's life. Because they are too proud to admit that they need help. A lot of these women, they think they can do it on their own, like the white woman tells them, and the white leftist tells them. They think, oh, I can do this on my own. But everything I've seen is that you can't do it on your own. You do need that man there, because that man is the only one who can teach this child about the world from a man's perspective, especially for a son. And that man is the only one who can teach a boy the male life skills and male survival skills he needs. And Keke Palmer, as I see it, is doing a disservice to her son by going out here and starting this drama. Again, I see her messing her son up with these allegations, because I've seen firsthand what happens when women speak against the sons. The fathers. It makes the sons out here, it turns them into beta males. It turns them into simps, because the boy wants to not be his father, but everything that comes from him comes from his father. I talk about this in depth in my book, Manginas. They look like men, but they act like ladies. And that makes that boy head down the road to becoming one of these soft males or one of these nice guys who will fail in life because he doesn't understand how to be a man. So baby mama drama does a lot of damage to a lot of boys out here. The baby mama drama, again, the boy hearing, oh, my father is this, My father is that. My father did this. And he's looking to be this soft male who thinks he's going to be the opposite of his father. But the great irony is that he winds up becoming just like his father. And as he winds up becoming just like his father, we get a dysfunctional life paradigm where this boy winds up on a bad road. And as he winds up on this bad road, he winds up on the road to participating in the same dysfunctional behavior that
business for 22 years.
That his father and his father wound up participating in. That's what happens to boys out here when they don't have a father. They wind up on the road to becoming men in crisis. And that's what I believe, sadly, Keke Palmer has her son on. She has her son on the road to becoming a man in crisis. So, and she doesn't see where she's going. I mean, she really doesn't see where she's going. She doesn't see that she's on a bad road, and she doesn't see that she's on this bad road. She's just out here following in the footsteps of Mama, not understanding that Mama's footsteps are about to send her down a bad road.
For Sharonis Jackson to post on his Twitter the ridiculous stuff that he's posted when he knew his brother was abusive. I went to Sharonis over a year ago and told him that his brother was abusive to my daughter. And he said, well, I used to be like that too. What? So now he's posting on Twitter like he's this special guy when we know he's the biggest in Hollywood. He's disrespectful to women, just like his little brother. He taught his brother how to be abusive. So he don't get to act like he's this special guy. No, you're a boy and you're a part of the problem. Look, I've never done.
Now, I listened to this, and this woman basically, she's saying that, oh, the boy learned from a brother. I have to really shake my head on that, because boys learn from their fathers, and she's saying to the boy that he learned from his brother. No, it's the father who they learn from. And the problem here is that the great irony is she doesn't see how, as a mother, she's putting an example. She's just that the mother is showing us how the daughter is and what the daughter learned. I mean, we're seeing right here firsthand, Keke Palmer is just like her mom. And we're seeing that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. I mean, in this video footage, we basically see that Keke Palmer's mom is ratchet and ghetto, and this is where she got it from. And again, originally, I thought it was Issa Rae that put her on the road to becoming ratchet like this. But I see that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And she's saying that, oh, it was the brother who was abusive. And I don't really, again, if this was the case, you would think there would be a whole bunch of police reports as related to domestic violence, as related to both of these men. You would think that there would be a whole bunch of domestic violence reports, but there's nothing filed until now, and nothing is said until now. And I'm looking at this whole situation, and again, it just takes me back to growing up here in the South Bronx and seeing all of this baby mama drama going on, because that's what we used to see here in the South Bronx all the time. I used to see women, they would go out here, they would get involved with these guys like the Pookies and the Ray Rays, or the Spanish guys in the neighborhood. They would go out here and get with these guys, and they would want to go out here and just get with them to have these babies. And a lot of times, some of them wanted to have these babies because they just wanted to have their own child. Some of them wanted to actually go out here and use the baby as a leverage to control the man. But the whole thing was, it was all about them having power. It was all about them having the power and control in the relationship. And they were going to be the ones running the show. And as they were running the show, they were looking to run the relationship, and they wanted to use the family courts to break these men down, make these men subjugated, and use the courts as a weapon. But the whole situation again here with this whole situation shows me that a man has to be careful about who he gets involved with. Moreover, he has to go out here and look to vet the women he's involved with, which was the big mistake that Darius Jackson made. He did not vet this woman by taking her to other women, because if you take a woman to other women, like your mother or your aunt, they will tell you what this woman is about, because women are naturally competitive. Women are naturally looking to protect their sons. So a woman, what she's going to do is tell you what the deal is with this woman. And she's going to do that because she doesn't want to see you miserable in her company. Now, some mothers, they will go out here and they may not look out for your interests in some cases, but in a lot of cases, a lot of moms don't want to see their sons get jammed up by a bad woman. So one of the things you want to do is take your girlfriend to your mom. And that's why back in the day, it was considered to be a major turning point in a relationship when a man took a woman to meet his mother, because his mother would be the one who would let him know, okay, this woman is all right, by going out here and reading this woman the same way a woman takes her boyfriend to her father so that he can go out here and vet that person. Because when I look at Keke Palmer's behavior, again, you got to vet this type of woman, and you got to vet this type of woman and take your time. But Darius Jackson didn't know this because he never possibly had a father to teach him proper male life skills, proper male survival skills. He just got spellbound by the whole idea of a celebrity paying him attention, not understanding that while she was paying him attention, that attention was going to cost him as related to his intangibles of manhood, which he basically wound up taking a crap on, and was also going to possibly wind up costing him custody of his own child. That's what I believe is happening here with Darius Jackson. He just did not have that man there to give him guidance, because you need an adult man in your life who has lived life to sit down and talk to you about women. You need a man there to talk to you about life situations and give you life from his life experience. You need a man there to be able to read situations to help you get a sense of things. And a lot of boys, when they don't have that father there, they wind up on the road to being targeted by female predators like a Keke Palmer. And as they get targeted by these women, they wind up stuck in baby mama drama. And I can tell you from living in the South Bronx, baby mama drama is a nightmare. And it's a nightmare that does not end, because even though these women, once they get you in court and will get, even if they do get custody, what they will do is further escalate things, because it's not about getting the custody. It's about getting the power to destroy a man, and they will continue to escalate things to destroy that man. And as they're destroying you outside, they're destroying the image of you in front of the children. What they want to do is destroy the image of you and make you into the no good daddy, the no good black man. And they want to create these images of you being a bad guy. And that's what Keke Palmer is trying to do here, make Darius Jackson into a bad guy. That's what they try to do so that they can get complete control over this man and have him turned into one of these pathetic males like Will Smith, because Will Smith is the final product of what the baby mama wants to do to a dude. Will Smith is what they want to do, where he's just completely broken, completely destroyed, and has no sense of agency, no sense of power, has basically given up altogether, and is just a complete pathetic individual. That's what they want to see as related to a guy like a Darius Jackson, who thought, oh, I'm just going to get with this fly actress who I'm seeing on the set of this show, Insecure, not ironically knowing that he's dealing with an insecure woman in crisis, and that this insecure woman in crisis is just one that you need to avoid in the first place, because this woman, she looked good on the outside, but her character was bad on the inside. But this guy couldn't see it because he was spellbound. And because he was spellbound, he couldn't see that this woman was not somebody who was wife material, and she wasn't looking to be a wife. No, she wanted to settle for a baby mama because she had low self-esteem and low self-worth. She didn't really like who she was, so she settled for the role of a baby mama and was looking for a simp to use for his seed so that she could go out here and be the one who would be able to subjugate the man and raise the boy to be whatever she wanted him to be. But what happens in many cases that I've seen here in the South Bronx is these women wind up becoming disappointed because the boy that they raised, that they want to be the perfect man, winds up becoming a man in crisis who is insecure, who is dysfunctional, who is violent and out of control. And usually they wind up having to deal with this Frankenstein monster. And a lot of times, because they push the father out of the picture, they wind up dealing with this dude on their own. That's what happens here in the case of a lot of women who create the baby mama drama. They wind up in a show where they're all alone at the end of the series with these kids when they start to enter puberty. When they start to enter puberty, that's when they start to enter into a show that is not as entertaining as they thought, because they have a lot of fun with the good little boy when he's young. But when that boy turns 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, that's when mama starts getting scared because she's stuck with a child who she can't control, a child who doesn't know how to function in the world. And as that child gets older, they turn into a male and not a man. And the finished result is a guy who usually just winds up laying in the racing car bed and just out here, getting with all of these women, creating more illegitimate children and causing her more shame and embarrassment. So Keke Palmer is a sad, tragic story. She was a Hollywood woman who had all the promise in the world. She had all the promise to become a wife. She had all the tools to become a wife. Unfortunately, because she wanted to have low self-esteem, she wound up wanting to be a baby mama. And now she's caught up in some baby mama drama. And as she's caught up in this baby mama drama, she's the one who's out here not understanding this is going to get a whole lot worse. And it's going to get a whole lot worse because in baby mama drama, you're stuck with this dude for 18 years. You're stuck with this dude. And if this case goes the way I think, she may have to pay this dude for 18 years. She's basically stuck herself in a bad situation. And as she stuck herself in a bad situation, she doesn't understand that the world of a baby mama is one that you want to avoid. Nobody aspires to be a single mom because the world of a single mom is nothing but baby mama drama. And no guy wants to deal with baby mama drama. And the only guys who are stuck in it are the simps who become baby daddies. And that's basically what's happened here with Keke Palmer. Now, I'm going to get ready to wrap up tonight's stream. And before I get ready to wrap up tonight's stream, I would like to ask everybody to go out here and pick up some of the books on the SJS Direct imprint. And a lot of those books will help you get out of a jam so that you can avoid dealing with a woman who is wanting to go on the road to becoming a baby mama. So you can pick up my book, The Woman Crisis, on Amazon.com. And The Woman Crisis will explain to you how women like Keke Palmer wind up on the road to becoming women in crisis because these are feminists and not women. And because they are feminists, they're not interested in becoming helpmeets to men. No, they want to go out here and be the heads as related to the relationship. And because they want that power, they want to control a man. So I talk about this in depth in my book, The Woman Crisis. And I also talk about why women like Keke Palmer wind up in baby mama drama in my other book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. And you can get both of those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also get both of those books on Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. And there was a viewer here who wanted me to talk about this subject. And since they wanted me to talk about this subject, I'm hoping that they will go out here and put their money up to support the channel by dropping a donation to the Cash App. Because a lot of people, they ask me to talk about subjects, but then they don't want to put any money on the table. So I'm hoping that this viewer puts their money on the table for the Cash App, because I did this video live stream on this Keke Palmer situation, and I'm hoping they'll come in and drop a donation to the Cash App or the PayPal, because that helps me be able to stay on the air. Now, before I go, I'm going to give some shout outs. Your Nightingale Wednesday Nightmare, Computer Robots, Entrepreneur King, Gabria Bradley, Keating Rourke, Mr. Lone Wolf, Shadid Hansen, One Full Boss. I'm glad that you're here and able to catch this one. I mean, I know that I come on at about 11:20, 11:30, but this time I was on, that I finally came up with this topic. I'm going to be doing some other videos, filming them tomorrow, but I wanted to get this stream out about Keke Palmer's baby mama drama and wanted to talk about this in depth. So this is another thing that she's got going, and it's really sad that she's got this going on. And what's really sad is her child is in a situation with two parents who are men and women in crisis, raising a boy who's on the road to becoming a man in crisis. And that's another book you guys can pick up, is The Man Crisis, which will also further go in depth on the subject of what happens to kids who are raised in dysfunctional situations with baby mama drama. So all of those books are available on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. They're also available at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. So I want to thank everybody for coming out to tonight's stream. I hope you'll be there next week when Mr. Chris and I and his special guest will be here, and we will be going in depth as related to a subject. So Mr. Chris will be on next week with his friend, and I'm hoping that you'll be there for that show next week. Everybody have a good evening, and everybody have a good morning or a good night wherever you are.